Hi, everybody. My name is Alex Schmidt, and I'm going to be doing the graduate admissions session here. I'm an assistant registrar within admissions at the Daniels faculty. Today's session, we're going to be going over kind of the basic overview of the process, and we're going to deep dive a few of the applications requirements involved. So here's the application process illustrated from start to finish, from starting your application to releasing decisions in the spring. So the application process is essentially two major parts. The first part, as you can see, is submitting the application, and the second part is the supporting documents. The application includes your application, your transcripts, and payment, along with the reference contact information for your three letters of reference. And then the second part is the supporting documents. Those supporting documents we'll break down in a little bit. So essentially, you have the application deadline and the supporting document deadline. Those are outlined right here. Some programs, mainly in forestry, will have a secondary application deadline, but most will align with our January 5th and January 12th deadlines, as you can see here. To reiterate, the application deadline does involve the application, payment, contact information for your referees, and transcripts. And then the supporting document deadline will be those supporting documents we're going to cover. Applying early in the early deadlines for, say, some of the forestry programs does not ensure or prioritize your application in any sort of way. It just gets the application reviewed a little earlier than if you were to apply later. So up on the screen, you're seeing the application fees. Those are the application fees listed. It includes an application fee and a portfolio review fee or a supporting document fee. The totals you're seeing are above. Keep in mind there may be a small processing fee along with it, and apologies for that, but there may be a processing fee, a small one that when you pay. Now, the transcripts we're going to go over in a minute, what the difference is when applying and after, say, an offer is given. But when you apply, you're going to want to get electronic copies of your transcript ready. When applying, you're not going to need official hard copy transcript sent in. We don't even need specifically copies of your official transcript. It is always better to have copies of your official transcript. But say if your institution that you're applying from at your undergrad, for your undergrad degree, may only allow maybe an academic history while still in the program or something along those lines, as long as it's coming from the official university website or university transcript processor, a copy of that is okay when applying. Things become different if an offer is given, but when applying, all we need is a copy. And then the referees, I said earlier, when submitting the application, you're going to want to have that contact info ready for those referees, because once you submit their information, they can be emailed with an email prompt prompting them with a request to do the referee or the reference letter. And of course, if you haven't cleared it with them, they may be caught off guard. So one, we ask that you ensure availability before submitting and ensure availability of those referees when entering the contact info, because they will most likely be contacted pretty soon after you enter it. We list that both academic and professional referees are accepted, but we do prefer academic. But of course, if you have more professional referees, or if referees from like a professional setting better represent you now, just giving time, that's totally understandable, and we won't dock you for having too much of either. But both academic and professional references are accepted. So the academic requirements when applying to most of our programs, first and foremost, we're going to need a 4-year bachelor degree to apply to any of our programs at a minimum. Now, we do get the question, sometimes there are 3-year bachelor degrees that are offered from either colleges in Canada or North America, or in Europe or things like that, where they offer specifically 3-year degrees or a diploma. Now, you're technically not meeting the application requirement with that, But if you feel your application is strong enough, a lot of programs will still review those applications. It would just require a secondary review through the School of Graduate Studies if an offer were given. But to reiterate, the minimum requirement when applying is a 4-year university level degree. The final year average must be a minimum of a mid B. However, your institution breaks it down, it's essentially the last year. At U of T, it's your last 5 full course equivalents or your 5 credits. But again, like I said, university may have 120 credits, 60 credits. However, the last year breaks down, that's how we need it for pretty much all programs, except for MFC that asks for the last 2 years. Obviously, if you're getting into the last 2 years, you may be running into more 100 level, 200 level courses. Admissions will try to keep most of the GPA calc courses during the calculation at the 300 plus level when doing the GPA calculation. And of course, we just reiterate, meeting the minimum admission requirement does not guarantee admission, but that is the minimum. So when reviewing this, you may say, I'm coming from a specific country that has a completely different grading scale than U of T. We have a international credit degree equivalency tool. The QR code right there links you directly to it. It is an invaluable resource if you're coming from any country in the world. And as you can see to the right in the pane is that it gives you kind of an example of like Chile, China, where the equivalency from that country can get translated into our grading convention. Obviously, your institution, even within a specific country, may have its own. So 2 things. One, we will do the calculation no matter what manually when applying. And 2, when submitting a transcript, always submit the grading scale. Most transcripts come with it on either the final page or in a middle page. Somewhere in the transcript, they'll have a grading scale, or if you could link it from your university website. That way, if there is a discrepancy, if there's confusion, we'll have a better a guide for how your institution or country or wherever calculates GPAs. So the transcripts, we get a lot of questions. Do I need to submit them all? You need to submit all transcripts from all post secondary institutions. If you took you studied abroad somewhere, did an exchange, even if those grades are present on your home transcript, we really need those transcripts as well. It just saves from having to kind of differentiate and investigate. All transcripts are required. The secondary part of this breakdown kind of touches base when there's an offer. But so first we need transcripts from all post-secondary institutions. If you were to receive an offer, that's where things change with the transcripts. We would then need hard copy or official or electronic copies from the issuing institution, either through their official processing, the official transcript processor, or directly from the registrar's office if it's not set up through a processor, or of course mailed hard copy transcripts. That's after an offer were given, if an offer were given. So now jumping into the supporting documents, the secondary deadline of the 12th of January will have these supporting documents that are required. For most programs, it will be the CV, 3 letters of reference, a portfolio, statement of interest, and a writing sample. If you have an MBS, a multimedia portfolio is required. On top of that, an explanatory sheet is required with it to help walk you through, because it's not a standard static portfolio. And then, of course, the proof of English proficiency is required essentially at that time. We'll deep dive what that means in a minute, but if you have the requirement of your English language proficiency, it should be satisfied by the supporting document deadline. So I'm actually going to stay at this sheet for a second and just touch base on a few things. The CV is essentially what it is. It's a resume. It's basically a breakdown of academic and professional work. I touched base on the letters of reference previously. It can be academic or professional. I'm going to jump the portfolio to the statement of interest. The statement of interest is exactly what it sounds like. It's a statement of your interests, intentions, what brought you to the faculty, things of that nature. Just essentially your ability to communicate to the admissions committee outside of the other supporting documents. And then the writing sample. The writing sample, we get this question a lot. Does it matter what the writing sample is about? It doesn't matter what the subject of the writing sample is. It's less about the subject. It doesn't have to be about a building design or things like that. It's more to see your ability to write, your ability to communicate effectively, professionally, things like that. So it's less important to focus on the subject matter, but just more important to focus of it being a representation of writing you've done. So a few things on the portfolio. Definitely check out our website in terms of a full breakdown of what the portfolio requirement entails, just because it is a complex part of the application. It is generally the most unique part of your application because you will have the ability to kind of express yourself outside of kind of more static numbers and things like that. If you are applying to more than one program, a separate portfolio should be submitted for each program. I mean, you're welcome to submit a copy of the previous portfolio and say both an MLA and an MArch program. But obviously, if you're applying to a specific program, it's better to have something that's specific to that program. The people who are applying for advanced standing, it's obviously an opportunity to demonstrate a level of your current design ability. And also kind of your ability to pursue advanced work within the program you're in now or within whatever you're doing now. The applicants without a previous design background, it's an opportunity for you folks to display your creative potential or creative projects you've pursued on your own, just because you may not have the design background of somebody else or the design requirement, which would help produce that portfolio a little easier, just because if you're in a design school, you may have more design just work in general. And I do want to touch base on this. The MArch and MLA programs, especially, accept, if not encourage, applications from a diverse background. They accept applications from both for both of those programs. Accept applications from a myriad of backgrounds. So even if you study philosophy, psychology, things like that, those applications are not only welcome, they're encouraged. There may be something that you bring differently than, say, a design background student. There's a different perspective, a different lens you see things through, and a different lived experience. So we accept applications from those backgrounds. So in this situation for your portfolio, it would be an opportunity to display your creative potential or independent design projects. So touching base on the English proficiency. English proficiency is generally required for all international students from either a nation and or a school where the official language is not English. So definitely check out the English language proficiency requirements on the SGS website, but it's a good operating rule to, if you come from a school, especially where an international school where the medium of instruction is not English, and it's within a country that is not an official language English, then you'll most likely need to do an English language proficiency test. Even if there are specific requirements met, an applicant may still be asked to prove English proficiency. We need an English proficiency score test from within at least the last 2 years when applying. When applying, when taking the test and it's completed, it's on the student to submit those results to the institution. The way that's done is that you contact the testing center and have them electronically send it to us, that so we officially see the results sent directly from the institution. It's the only way it's accepted. We won't accept PDF copies. We won't accept a student's Word. Only electronically sent results will be accepted. And that will also, if an offer were given, clear an admission condition. So once completed, and if they satisfy the ELP requirement, definitely have those sent in as soon as possible, even when still applying. Just if there's an offer, they'll be there just in case there's an offer. So we just kind of a basic overview. If you have any questions about any of the things that I went over, definitely reach out at futurestudents@daniels.utoronto.ca. Again, my name is Alex Schmidt. I work in admissions. Myself and my colleague Amelia monitor that email along with the graduate@daniels.utoronto.ca email. And if you're looking for graduate admission requirement information, or if you just want to touch base, it's always a great place to start at futurestudents@daniels.utoronto.ca. Thank you, and have a great rest of the day.